Hello there, welcome and thank you for joining us today. I'm Sahil and I head the marketing for infrastructure management services business at Team Computers. It's good to see that people have started taking print security seriously. I mean, that's the reason you've joined us today to know more about it. We'll be happy to shed some light on the topic. And to help us, we have Bilal Lehwani, who's the CEO of ePaper from Israel, and his colleague Shadi Zidan. Israel, as we all know, has very high safety standards. ePaper, on its part, has successfully made the country's leading public and private organizations safe from any cyber attack in their print environment. Well, that's quite an achievement, no? Then we have Siddesh from Team Computers, who's had first-hand experience in implementing ePaper's products in the Indian subcontinent and at few prestigious customers. Okay, let's look at the agenda today. So Mr. Bilal and Shadi will begin by discussing some unique features of Sentinel, one of their products, and they're going to be mainly focusing on cost savings and majorly security, which is our agenda for the day. This will be followed by Siddhesh's discussion on a case study of Team Computers' implementation of Sentinel as a product. All right, the ePaper team, we may begin. Over to you, Mr. Bilal.
Hi, it's Shadi here. Nice to meet you, everyone. We just need to wait for a minute for Bilal to join from his phone. So if you don't mind.
Hello. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, I do. Hear me?
Yeah. Mr. Bilal, so we may begin.
Yes, I'm sorry. It was in a mute. I didn't notice.
No.
Okay, so thank you for all of the participating in this webinar, Zoom meeting. My name is Bilal. I'm the CEO of the company, as have been mentioned. Today we are going to give you a really short brief about our solution. We will focus on security and cost saving of our product and its unique features. ePaper is a company that is working from 2005. It started in Israel. We have all of the main leaders, competitors in this market in Israel. With all of this, we have about 80% of the market in Israel, and it's only because of our special features, unique features, and the strength of our staff and its experience in the printing market. And some of my staff have more than 25 years experience in developing, managing, selling printing solution. What we are doing with Team Computer, we want to duplicate the success of what happens in Israel to the Indian markets. We already start selling to the Indian markets, to the biggest enterprises in India. I can give some examples like Tata, Mahindra, ICICI Bank, and other very big names, DB Corp and others. So Shadi will start talking about the features, the special secure features, and the cost-saving features in our product, and our unique features. Shadi, you can go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Bilal. As Bilal also mentioned, my name is Shadi. I'm a software engineer and a project manager in ePaper. And I will be introducing Sentinel, our product, briefly introduce it, because we've got many features and many things. So I'll be talking about every feature briefly. So if we can go for the first slide, will I be able to connect? No. Okay. So mainly Sentinel, one of the biggest challenges in using Sentinel is how much it can save for companies in terms of resources and physical things, in terms of printing activity management. All of this are really big challenges that we always put put our strengths to always increase. We've got different techniques and the technologies that we use in order to enhance the saving and save toner. We've got the technique of save toner, the technology which works on the document pixels in order to reduce the usage of toner. And we can set we can also set the amount or the level of percentage that we need for printing. So as an example, you can set for printer A, you can set it to be saving toner at 25%. For printer B, you can set it to be saving at 50%. So it works actually on the, as I mentioned, on the pixels, reducing the amount of pixels, and you get a very close quality, but also you save on the toner. Also Sentinel as a printing management solution. We have the options to apply rules on your printing activity, and these rules can vary, and it can be such as forcing people who print a lot to print in duplex, as an example, like in both sides of the paper, or force some like users to print in black and white if you think that their printing is not does not really have to be in color. So you can force users to in black and white, print in black and white, and you can control actually the printing activity as I'm going to talk about this scripting ahead. So you can from there even control it to a level where you can apply companies really rules. It's not things that we have implemented built in the system. You can do your own or apply your own rules. We have you can also, as I talked about rules, you can also put your or limitations on printing. So according to where the job comes from or the number of pages, and all this can really applied from the scripts. So in scripts, I'll talk I'll talk about this, because this is a great feature, a big feature that need to be mentioned. We have the savings also comes from employees are being aware that we are being tracked, you are being recorded. So employees will have more Hello? Should I continue, or is there any question? Hello? Hello?
Shadi, I think you can go ahead, I guess.
Okay. So so we stopped from saying that employees will have more responsibility on the material they are printing, as they know that they are being recorded and watched, and all these things will be introduced in reports and will be really and can be really reached into very low level details. because some companies can even get a snap, uh, for each print job that is sent to the system. Like if you are sending a PDF, the system can take PDF and save it somewhere on the network that can be viewed later on. Also, some employees, they send or that are using the printing activity or using printers a lot and print a lot and loads of paper. Sometimes they send jobs that they do not really need. And if there is no system that can control the printing, these jobs will come out of the printer straight away directly. And sometimes, most of the time, they are thrown into the bin. We've got the feature that we also can is configurable, like in the system, that if we are using if you are using pull printing, which is once the user sends their print jobs to the system, they have to authenticate, which means that swiping their card or using their PIN code in order to release the job. The job will wait in the system until the user does that. The user can also select the jobs that he wants. So if the system detects that the user hasn't printed the job in an X configurable amount of hours, then the system will delete the job automatically, saving us from printing unnecessary jobs or unnecessary paper. We've got because we have mentioned that it's a centralized solution which can be controlled over a web application, and everything can be seen on the web, whether you have printers that are offline or it is very, very easier to handle the calls and then even reduce the number of personnel, work on printers or dealing with printers. It's a centralized solution, which means that users can send from their PC and release their jobs on any printer that is connected to Sentinel, like the solution. So if you have a problem with one printer, it would be easy to go to another printer and release your jobs because they are all connected to the same system. We've got I will show you some figures later on about the savings, very important savings, I think. Personally, all the environment factors and the trees and CO2 production, even the energy. I'll show you later on. Can you go ahead, please? The next. Okay. So this is a real scenario that I wanted to show you. It's from one of our insurance company. They've already saved 850 trees. That's when I see this figure, I really get impressed about these saving capabilities of our product. And also, when you think about saving in trees, you think about saving in energy and in printers life cycle in terms of power, and because when the printers is started, they use a certain amount of energy, and also we know that large capacity printers, they even spend more energy. So if you control your printing and you know when to print and what to print, you'll be able to save on power and on trees. And this is really 850 trees. It's like very impressive. So it's around they saved around 7 million pages, which is 33 tons of paper. Can we go forward, please? Okay, so we will start talking about different features. The digital signature, we are able to really retain the authenticity of scanned documents through our scan to mail feature. We go forward. Okay, we've got also the optical character recognition, which help us detect the characters on a printed document. That the optical character recognition can be used for digital documents archiving, such as when users scan documents, it can be used to detect the user who sent the document or something else in order to save the document on the shared or selected folder. You can detect characters and find out if the document printing is securely okay, and you can apply all these security rules and constraints according to the to what is sent in the printed document, and that can be detected using the optical character recognition. Next slide. Okay, we can also add to the document different kind of information, such as like usernames, who printed the document, the date, and that can be added in different positions. Okay, forward. Okay, I've mentioned before the about the scripting features that we have, and we normally introduce to customers as being very unique, and introducing this technology in a printing environment. As I've mentioned also before, that we didn't want to rely only on the built-in rules that we have or we can force on users in the system. So we have what is called the scripting language. We use the Lua scripting language, and the scripting, all these scripts can be attached to triggers. Triggers such as when user is authenticated, when the job is submitted, or when. So you have different triggers in the system that you can attach to them a script that runs and give you a result. Now these scripts, you can use them in order to write different rules that the system or the business want to apply on their user or on their printing activity. And these scripts are really powerful because you can use the job structure, or you can use also external dynamic link libraries, which means that you can use code, or you can use functions that have been written by somebody else, and you can use it in scripts and get your own results, or you have your own rules if you want. So it's a very open scripting language that really can help the organization apply their rules and apply the security measures, or even really you can do everything from here. It's an open platform that allows customers to do anything they really want, without even us interfering. It's very easy scripting language. It's called Lua, and yep, that's all about it. It's very unique feature. Can go forward. Yeah. Okay, so our web interface and our system is really protected. We have worked on many security aspects in terms of code, inside and outside. You can we normally use the organization DB structures, but also we allow like if they have their own SQL servers, or we normally recommend to use their DB structures because they have got their own rules. If they don't, we can use the SQL Express edition. We have every time that we develop our system, we make sure that there is no security breaches such as the SQL query strings can be performed on our web, or any other attack. Also, the system is works based on Windows authentication. Windows authentication, it means that in order to get into the system, you need to be authenticated using your Windows username and password. And of course, all these users are or can be controlled. Like user authentication can be controlled by an administrator. You can have different kind of levels of security as administrator, support, or the different kind of levels. All the passwords are encrypted. Web config is encrypted. Everything we managed to we try to close any gap that we can see in terms of security, because it's very important. Go forward, please. Okay, we also, as I've mentioned, we've got the detailed logs that really can, or logs can record anything that is done on the system, like changes in terms of configuration settings. We can see you can see on the system event anything that is changed is recorded, so we can track who did what and make sure that everything goes smoothly. Users that are standard users can see only their jobs. So you have got in the system users, standard users, or normal users can't even access the web application. They have the right to, but they can see their jobs only, and they cannot do anything else other than seeing their jobs or printing to their default printers if they have one. Any users that, if you are not using what we call the Active Directory sync, which means if a new user sends a job to the system is able to use the Active Directory in order to add the user automatically. If you do not use that, then any user that prints to the system and has no privileges or is not registered, he will not be able to do so. So he can print, but he will not be able to release the jobs. And the logging, the amount of logging is very important. We have the system events. We really use it to really let's say, apply the security standards or high security standards, and we also use it to log any errors that we have in the system. Go forward, please. Okay, we've got the data leak prevention, also the technology that allows us to release any jobs, and also this can also be used using the scripts that can prevent releasing jobs that contains sensitive data or classified documents that are not that the management does not allow users to print. And this is very important for security, high security standards. Some customers like banks, Passport, or any other financial customers. Can go forward. We've got many, so I'm gonna be close now. We have got also the trafficless mode. Actually, from our experience in India, we have also noticed that the network also sometimes it's very busy, or the bandwidth is not really stable. So we also have the trafficless solution, which is actually saves us a lot of bandwidth, and as the connection between the client and our server is through metadata only. The actual data stays on the client machine, and therefore it's a trafficless. You don't have much traffic, you don't have much data, so you actually save the traffic traffic of downloading the data from server to client, and then from client to printer. It's very well going at the moment, and it's very effective. I mentioned that the metadata is sent via the network to the server. So the server only accepts the metadata, which includes the what really needs to be done, and then the job is really sent or released from the client machine. We go forward. We've got different customers, but before this slide, I want to talk about few things, few features that I didn't mention even on the slide, because I thought that I had less time. I don't know how much time do I have. How much time do I have?
Shadi, we are already running out of time. If we can just cover that topic in 2-3 minutes, that would be fine.
Okay, fantastic. So I'll be talking about different features that really also make ePaper and Sentinel unique. One of these features is the SDE. Sanju, if you can share the document I sent you. I sent you a separate document. The SDE is actually a design engine. Sentinel can accept XML, which is a structured language. And the XML can be converted into a very designed, well-designed document and be printed through the system. Can you do that, Sanju? Can you?
That's okay, Shadi. If you could just talk about that without that slide.
Okay. Also, we've got the scan to me, which is scanning documents through, and the documents can follow you to your email or to a safe folder. Um, we also have a mail to print feature, which allows the users to send print jobs like attachments to an email, and then these jobs will be waiting for them on the system in order to be released. It also supports what is called yeah, guest printing. Like you can allow guests from outside the company or the organization to print or to use your printers in case of open days or something like that. Some customers they use it. So we've got different features. I'm sure that I couldn't cover them all, and been pleasure to be on this session. Thank you.
Thanks, Shadi. Over to you, Siddesh.
Yeah, yeah. So good evening, one present over here. Well, myself is Sadesh, and so I will explain the live scenario which we have recently, where we have implemented e-paper. So the customer name is Sudhaksha, you can see as in slide. So when we have approached them, we have understand there are some pain areas where they were having the other OEM printers where they have implemented the device-based solutions. So they were not able to maybe interact they were not able to take out the proper reports every month to month. Plus, if they want to remove the reports, they have a manual intervention where some person needs to be assigned and particular date and particular time they have to remove that reports, and every month they have to do the same activity and take out the difference and then use it for their internal reference or audit purpose. Plus, since it was a device-based application, there wasn't follow me printing was implemented over there. Again, their concern was they want to this is actually the every company's concern nowadays, because they want to use the less infrastructure, like maybe a VM or live server or server licenses, that is Windows server licenses or something like that. They want to use that as less as it is possible, because they have a different size pan India, and they have a factory kind of setups as well. Okay. Then after that, they also looking for something the secure based printing. So it can be either a card punching or maybe individual pins where it can be assigned to every users. And whenever they go to the printers, they can use that pins and they can see only their jobs, not anyone else's job, and then they can release whichever job they want to take right away. That was their requirement. Plus they also want like which has happened 2 years back, the ransomware attack. So they want to make sure that if something happens like that, so their system or their infrastructure or their printing management solution should be secured, like such kind of scenarios if such emergencies comes. So there was the so there was we have when we have understood that pain areas, we have come back, we have internally done homework. There's an entire team, and we of course we came back to e-paper, and we discussed with the e-paper, and e-paper is given us the exact the feature matching application. And wherever the best part, my friend Shadi said, so they have a customized script. So wherever it wasn't possible in a ready solution, where their team Shadi and Nabil were helped us every time, for the such kind of customization, and we were able to customize and delivered this solution successfully. And the best part about e-paper is that support, because if you see nowadays anywhere or any hardware or solution, once we implement, we require a support. And this is what we got, from the e-paper continuously. and that was the one of the reason that we were able to successfully install this entire project at Sodaxo site, and we were able to get the appreciation from their management team itself. So, for example, when we talk about the serverless printing, as Mr. Shadi said earlier, so here we have only kept two servers. One is the main brain, and that is a main server, and the second server is for a backup. So, in case if the one server goes down, at least the second server will start its services and will take care of the whatever the activity which is left behind. And the another best part is that since in e-paper we have a, a kind of AP client kind of feature where we have to install these clients in each and every devices, as in systems, as in laptops or desktops. And what it does is that it whenever you give a print jobs, that jobs doesn't travel to the entire to the server directly. It holds there at the that system itself, and when that user get up and it goes to the printer, he authenticates himself, then the job travels from that laptop to that printer and he releases the job. So this is the less data traffic, it avoids the chokes of bandwidth and everything. The again one unique feature I like to tell you about here about the e-paper is print refresh jobs. So how it happens and how it works is that, for example, I am the user. If I give a print from my laptop, and of course I get up from my desk and I went to the printer, and when I authenticate, I can see my job. But in meanwhile, my system is open at the other side at my other where I said, and someone tried to give some important document from my laptop, it won't come directly over there till I don't log out and log in again. So it won't be any misuse, by having this auto refresh facilities such like that. And again, the go green concept, of course, now every company is, even from small scale industry to global major industries, they are looking for CSR activities. So this is one of the best application again who give most of the contribution for such activities, where we can actually get the graphical reports and representations for their management, and they can pull down how many paper they have saving. Of course, the my friend Shadi, again, what all features he said, through that we can save many papers, and this kind of graphical represent the entire management, or that company team can present to their top management. So this can be again useful in a CSR activities, this kind of application. And yeah, and again the reports. So okay, so as I said, like what challenges they were facing in the reporting earlier. So they has to be involved their team to pull out the reports every particular month, particular date, and particular time. So but e-paper has a different kind of reports. You can go for top 10 users or top 10 MFDs or top 10 locations or such kind of different reports. There are the bundles inside, and even that can be customized, if we require. So this kind of reports, we can actually set the triggers on particular date and a particular time, and the users as well. So on those particular days, time, and the dates, this reports triggers and goes to everyone. So it is very helpful for maybe accounting team, or maybe IT team or admin team to to review it, or to use it for their audits and all these things. So this is the one of the the few points which I like to highlight, which is actually required in Mumbai, or I can say in India, day and out. So, and once again, the support, we get amazing support, and that's why we have choose a maximum time wherever we want to implement such kind of MPS mask level solution. So we prefer e-paper, and I really appreciate their support. Thanks a lot. So we are open for the questions if anyone have.
Uh, Thank you, Shadi. Thank you, Siddesh. If anybody has any question, you may ask now. There's a tab called chat down below. You can just click on it, type your question, or you could just simply go to manage participants and there's an option of raising hands. So you could just raise your hand, we'll unmute you and you can ask your question. We'll wait for 2 minutes for any questions if anybody has. Okay, so we have one question. It says that there are, Israel seems to be a mature market for such security features, but is India a ready market right now? Do we need such high security features? Maybe Shadi, you could answer that.
And security, you need security everywhere, to be honest. Especially in very important financial organizations or very secure sites. We've got our products in the different different security sites here in Israel, like the Israeli defense or Israeli army, and you don't also have to use, if you don't need security, like I'm talking about full solution, full printing solution, which means that a user sends a job to the system and then he retrieves the job using his card or his PIN code. You can use what is called a push printing, which is that you configure the printers on the server, and then the printing activity will be as usual, printing directly to the system, but also it can be recorded in the system, so you can have a very good view of what is really going on. So it's, security can be on different levels, and it can be applied really in different levels, as I mentioned, using a full printing or push printing.
Thank you, Shadi. There's another question somebody has asked. Is the product a subscription-based product or it's a one-time investment that we need to make?
Well, I don't have the answer for this, fortunately, because I don't deal with this.
Siddesh, could you
Yes.
please take this up?
Yes, certainly. So here is a license. This entire solution is license based. So it will be number of printers based licenses, which is embedded licenses. And if anything, like my friend Shadi said, like if you require any external controller and all, that will be a separate hardware which needs to purchase on the requirement, if there is a requirement, then only. Because if the printers are not compatible and still they are looking for some kind of MPS solution, that time this hardware comes in a picture. Otherwise, it will be one-time subscription, and it is usually like 3 years or 5 years kind of contract. What this licenses work depends on what customer is asking for. And the best part about the e-paper, I like to tell you one more thing. So this particular solution is compatible with all kind of OEM. So if particular organization has a different brands, like maybe HP and Xerox and Konica Minolta, still this solution can take care of all this brand. But then of course we need to check the compatibility of those printers. If they are really old printers, then we need to check how we can work around that. But if these are latest printers, definitely we can take care of.
Yeah. Okay, and is the license transferable from one device to another?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Siddesh. So
yeah, good evening. There is one more question. I'm Dipendu Singh from New Delhi. Is it audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Please ask
Okay.
a question.
So my question is, of course, there is a competition in market regarding this solutions. So if I ask the unique, one USP or two USP of this Sentinel solution, then what are those? I mean, if I can, because I'm into business development, I interact with the customers. So if Shadi or Siddesh can answer this.
Sir, can you repeat the question for me, as you were breaking up a bit?
Shadi, I'll repeat the question for you. He's saying compared to other products in the market, what are those one or two features which are not found in other products, and they're there in Sentinel as a product?
Well, we've talked about scripting. Scripting. I didn't. Well, I don't know that it exists in different products. You've got the SDE that we've mentioned, which is the a design engine that can accept structured language files like XMLs and then be converted to well-designed documents that can be printed to the system. So it converts XML to, let's say, a PDF, and the PDF can be printed through the system. Uh, we've got many features. I haven't checked all of them, but I know that we have very unique features.
If you don't mind, I like to say something here.
Sure.
Yeah, Dipendu, thanks for your question again. Yes, as Shadi said, the scripting is one of the most important USP. I tell you why. Because if we see in other products in the market, they have a standard rules and standard reporting structure. If you ask them to, customization, you do not get easily. Because but here, since this entire team, e-paper teams, are working closely with the team computers, and they if such kind of customization, it depends on what kind of customization is also there. So if that kind of request comes, we definitely request them, and we do get support from them. And second, one more USP I like to tell you about this printless server architecture. That is again a second good USP, because if you see most of the companies has, as I said earlier, the limitations of hardware. So in that case, this entire solution works only on minimum 2 servers, and they can take a pan India setup that way. Apart from that, it has a many features like scan to me, secure scanning. Then it has also QR and NFC codes. Mobile print is application is there, but this is a separate module, which when we go for the understand the customer requirement, according to that we can configure and bundle this application which as an entire project.
Exactly. I want also to add. Thank you. I want also to add
You're welcome.
the system is very, as you mentioned, a customized system that you can customize it according to the company's structured or printing activity structure. With all to do also with reporting, we've got we are able to add and edit reports like on the spot. If the customer tell us we don't want this column to appear, we can just go and delete the column, or the customer can, if he has his own report format or the vision of what he wants on how he wants to see the report, it is very doable. It is very, very, very dynamic. We can add the report, and like we can develop a report using the designer we have.
Exactly, and we did that with the help of Shadi and Nabil's help.
We are doing it. We have done it in many customer sites, because where every customer has his own vision of how he wants to see the reports and what he wants to see in these reports. This dynamic reporting give us the opportunity in order to do that.
Okay. Thank you, Shadi. Thank you, Siddesh. If I think we don't have any more questions, we could end the session here. Thank you everyone for joining. If you have any further questions, you can email them directly to us, or after this, there's one request. You'll be receiving a feedback form. It'll be great if you could just fill it. It'll really help us improve our webinars. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you, Siddesh. Thank you, Shadi.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.